3 ways to make reading a habit. Reading helps you beat stress. It's a good way to keep your communication and creativity skills strong. By opening up a book, you can improve your knowledge base and virtually travel the world and otherworldly places. There are a lot of good reasons to read. If you want to get more reading into your life, we are here to help. Here are 3 ways to get more out of reading by turning it into a regular habit instead of a haphazard pastime. 1. Keep books handy. The odds are you have your phone within arm's reach of you right now. You might be reading this on your phone. We are constantly connected and have multiple digital devices at our fingertips, so there's no real excuse for not making reading a habit. Perhaps you prefer physical books as opposed to their digital brethren. You can still ensure you always have something to read by filling your environment with books. Pop a couple of paperbacks into the glove box of your vehicle. Keep magazines and books on your coffee table or the end table beside your sofa. Your bedside table can be home to a miniature library. You might even get away with storing a few books within reach at work. Better yet, read work-related material in your spare time on the job to help climb the corporate ladder. An easy way to make reading a habit is to have books nearby when you've got some free time and are looking for something to do. Reaching for a book is much better for your mental health and wellness than spending all your spare time staring at your phone. 2. Give yourself reading goals. You'll read more if you give yourself some incentive. Develop a target. Maybe you want to read for 1 hour every day. Promise yourself you will read every night before you go to bed. Do you have a certain number of books you want to read by a specific date? Or perhaps 1 book a month? Don't just keep these goals in your mind, where they can become misplaced and forgotten. Make sure you write this down and refer to it frequently. Give yourself a reading target, and you're more likely to read regularly. 3. Stop reading when the reading gets good. Why would we ask you to put down your reading material when it grabs you by the eyeballs? The reason is simple. It makes you want to pick it back up. Sometimes when a book is really good, you keep on reading. You never want to put it down. Then you end up burning a lot of nighttime hours you should have been sleeping, and you feel tired the next morning. You might even finish a good book and not have a new one to start the next day. If you put a book or story down when you're engaged in what's happening, you know you'll be reading again soon enough. Reading more is about turning conscious behaviors into unconscious habits. That's what these 3 tips help you do. Start today prioritizing reading, and you'll enjoy the significant boost to overall wellness that regular reading delivers. A continual reading habit requires planning. Has this ever happened to you? You finish reading a good book. It was really engaging. Maybe a friend recommended it to you, or you discovered it alone. It was so enjoyable that you wish you could read it again for the first time. You finished the last page as you lay in bed. You like to read before you sleep, and this book was enjoyable. Now, all you are thinking about is what you will read next. You drift off to dreamland, wake up the next morning and go through your day. You don't read that night since you don't have a book ready and waiting for you. This happens for another few nights as well, and before you know it, you've gone a week without reading on your regular schedule. This happens if you don't plan ahead. Instead of missing your reading time, there's something simple you can do to keep your reading rolling. Dog ear or highlight a page as a reminder. You can do this with whatever book you're reading right now. Open a spot near the back of the book, about 3/4 of the way through. It doesn't have to be precise. Place a strip of blank paper at that spot as a bookmark. Write something on it that reminds you to line up your next book. If you read on your phone or tablet, some tools allow you to highlight and bookmark different sections of a book. You can also take notes. This is where you want to write a note to yourself to get your next book ready. This allows you to seamlessly transition from one book to another without wasting considerable reading time. It makes your reading a habit that continually gives you content to consume. When you hit that spot in the book, you know it's time to start researching what your next reading material is going to be. Amazon is here to help. No matter where you got the current book you're reading, here's how Amazon can help you line up your next book. Type the name of your current book in the Amazon search bar. Click on a few of the results where the title is listed. Scroll down the page to find a section titled "You Might Also Like." Below that, you'll see 4 stars and above, where highly rated books similar to that book are shown. You can also look for more books from the same author. Your local librarian may be able to recommend some books similar to the one you're reading now. These are tried and true methods for discovering books you might enjoy. Combine these book hunting tips with the bookmarking method we just discussed. You'll always have your next book available and ready to go when you finish your current reading material. 3 ways reading more can improve your life. Who doesn't want to have a better life? We all do. Sometimes in seeking to improve our lives, we overlook simple but powerful practices. Reading is simple to do, and it can have an incredibly strong impact on your life. Here are 3 ways that reading can help you live your best ever life. 1. You can learn to do anything. Do you want to learn to speak another language? They have books for that. Would you like to bake a cake? Countless recipe books can help you out. Do you want to learn about, anything? Break out a book. The great thing about books is that you take them at your own pace. You can read as slowly or quickly as you like. Go back and read over a section you highlighted. E-readers and smartphones have digital features that allow you to highlight sections, take notes, and share content with others. Whether you like your written content in physical or digital format, you can learn anything by reading. 2. You give your brain a much-needed workout. Joseph Addison was a 17th century English writer. He once wrote, "Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body." It's true, your mind is a muscle, and just like other muscles, you use or lose it. You can combat mental decline and improve cognitive function by reading. In a study titled Short and Long-Term Effects of a Novel on Connectivity in the Brain, brainwave activity increased while people were reading a book. Incredibly, improved brain function and connectivity increased for days after they had stopped reading. Read more for a stronger brain and to fight cognitive decline as you age. 3. Reading relieves stress and makes your heart healthy. The results of a study on the link between reading and several health factors were published in the January 2009 Journal of College Teaching and Learning. Reading for just 30 minutes lowered blood pressure, heart rate, and feelings of stress. Volunteers were tested by MindLab International in another study on the effect of reading on stress relief. The research took place at the University of Sussex. Stress levels were reduced by a full 68% while reading. This produced better results than going for a walk, drinking coffee or tea, and playing video games for stress relief. Reading empowers you. You can learn anything by reading. Your mind isn't the only one to benefit. Your heart rate drops, as well as your blood pressure. For stress relief, reading can't be beaten. There are many other significant rewards of this simple practice. Start reading more today to improve your life in so many ways. How a book bucket list can help you read more. You do more of the things you prioritize. When you realize something is important, you tend to focus more on it. If you'd like to read more, try developing a book bucket list. You might be familiar with the term bucket list. It's a list of things you want to accomplish or experience before you die, before you kick the bucket. Making such a list is recommended because when you write things down, they become important to your mind. Review your bucket list regularly, and you continue to place a sense of importance on these activities, goals, or experiences. Why not make a book bucket list if you're trying to read more? Reading requires time and some planning if you want to always have something good to read. Creating a reading bucket list helps you with that planning. Prioritize some time for reading research. You might already have some books in mind that you'd like to read. They could be nonfiction, how-to books, or fictional novels. Jot them down while you're thinking about them. Just grab any spare paper or notebook and write down those books you want to read. Eventually, you should purchase a journal, diary, or notebook. You keep your reading bucket list in the front of the book. Then throughout the book, you dedicate a few pages to each book. Use this space to jot down your thoughts as you are reading. Rather than consuming a book and hoping that you'll remember everything special about it, this gets your thoughts and memories down on paper. Where do you get ideas for your reading bucket list? Join book clubs online or locally. Visit your local library and tell a librarian what authors you like. They may be able to suggest similar authors. Talk to your friends with similar reading interests. Perform a Google search for top 100 mystery books or another term. Swap out the word mystery for horror, romance, science fiction, thriller, or other genres. Browse the bestseller lists of the New York Times and Amazon. Be on the lookout for great book ideas everywhere. Keep a small notepad with you and actively spend some time working on your reading bucket list. Then get started reading. This is an easy way to read more and enjoy the many benefits reading offers. They include less stress, better communication skills, and overall mental and emotional wellness. 5 big benefits of reading to your children. Reading is a wonderful stress reliever. After a difficult day, you can escape into a book. Reading is well known as an overall health booster, both mentally and physically. Even before your children can read for themselves, they can also benefit. Here are some amazing benefits your children experience when you read to them regularly. 1. Improved cognitive development. Your child's cognitive development refers to their ability to understand things and to think. Reading to your child fires up the brain. Your child's ability to process thoughts, remember things and solve problems, make decisions, and understand others is boosted when you read to them. 2. Better concentration. If at all possible, read to your child at the same time and on a predictable schedule. This prepares your child's brain for the activity. They find it easier to concentrate if they know an activity will take place that requires their concentration. Even if you don't read to your child on a particular schedule, he has to concentrate on following the storyline. You can boost those concentration skills even further by asking questions about a story or book after you've read it. 3. Better language and communication skills. You can't start too early when reading to your children is concerned. Time magazine reports that reading to infants gets their language acquisition and communication skills started very early. This is important, since the American Academy of Pediatrics reports that 1 in 3 children in the U.S. start kindergarten without the skills necessary to learn to read. 4. Success in school. Expose your children to reading at a young age, and you give them a better start when they go to school. PBS, the public broadcasting station, stresses that reading to your children makes them better prepared to read independently. They report that the better your children can read, the more likely they are to graduate from high school. Plenty of other bodies of research show that children exposed to regular reading before preschool do better than average academically. 5. Improve discipline. You lead by example. Children, especially at a very young age, learn by watching. It takes a lot of discipline to sit and read to your children. They notice. It also takes discipline for them to sit still and pay attention. Teaching discipline to a child before they enter school is important because school success requires daily discipline. Read to your children. Get them engaged in the story. Ask them what they think about what you're reading. Get them involved. There's really no end to the wonderful health and wellness benefits children receive when you read to them.